Hello and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Here we are at 5:30 a.m. East Central Daytime, Daylight Time, really 4:30 a.m. But anyway, we'll play along with the government, U.S. and state government. They like to get us to pretend things, pretend reality. Here's Kessler, American blended whiskey. There's a stagecoach out west in the Colorado mountains, because actually Julius Kessler, that man photo, his photo there, he got this started by going out west in the 1880s and handing out samples of it like a traveling salesman. And it caught on, and now it's the #2 selling, the second best-selling blended whiskey in the United States. American blended whiskey. Obviously, Crown Royal is the #1, any kind of blended whiskey, but in the United States. But this is #2 for American blended whiskey. We know #1 is Seagram's 7 Crown. That's not even our choke. That's not even debatable. So Julius Kessler, well, it got bought out because when Prohibition, choking on saliva, when Prohibition was unleashed on America, he got discouraged and sold his company and went back to Hungary, where he was from. Yes, he was from the Kingdom of Hungary. And he stayed there until he died in the 1930s. Okay. But it's owned by Beam Suntory today. James B. Beam Distilling Company, a subsidiary of Beam Global, what's it called? Beam Global Holdings? Suntory. Suntory Global Spirits, yes. I see. Suntory Global Spirits. When Suntory bought Beam in 2014 and they changed the name to Beam Suntory, I said, watch, that's not going to last. They're just doing that to placate Americans who are scared that it's going to be a Japanese company and make it look like it's still American. But they had American stockholders or whatever. But finally, they said to honor the 10th anniversary of the merger, really the acquisition, they were changing it to Beam Global Spirits. Can't get that out of my mind. Suntory Global Spirits. Suntory Global Spirits. They're making it clear now. It's owned by Japan, the Japanese investors, and that's who's running it. But Beam is a subsidiary. All right, here's Texas 254 blended whiskey, owned by and produced by, it's not sourced, produced in Texas, Waxahachie, Texas, old Indian name, by Texas Backwoods, Texas Backwoods Craft Distillery. But if you check the Backwoods Craft Distillery website, they don't list this anymore. They used to, but they may not make it anymore, but they probably do. You know, a lot of these distilleries, they make products that they don't acknowledge. For example, Kessler, even though it's the second best-selling American blended whiskey, if you get on the James B. Beam Company website or Suntory Global Spirits, you'll never see Kessler. You won't know it exists, but here it is. I bought it. It was $14.99 at Dorgnac's Food Center. And it's blended at a higher ratio of straight bourbon. This is 27.5% straight bourbon. Now, they don't say it's made in Kentucky. They don't claim it's Kentucky blended whiskey. It says American blended whiskey, which means what? Well, the components in the blend could be coming from anywhere in America, and it could change. They're only making one claim, which is that it's blended and bottled in Kentucky. So we know they blend the whiskeys together and the spirits together in Kentucky, and they bottle it there. Now, where it comes from, that could change month to month. And we know the whiskeys are at least 2 years old. The straight whiskey, you say 2 years, that's young. Yeah, that's the minimum. So they're going as cheap as possible on the aging, but interestingly, they're going higher on the straight bourbon, assuming it's straight bourbon. Which is probably a safe assumption. But yeah, so that's the story on that. If you get Seagram 7 Crown, it's not quite as high as straight whiskey. It's 25% straight whiskey. This is 27.5%. That's about as high as they go these days on these blended American whiskeys. Now, this one is only 20% straight whiskey, 20%. Yeah, it might be a Texas thing because, you know, Texas is like a whole other country. No, but if you notice, there's a lot of really popular Texas spirit whiskeys, which I've never tried, that are less than 20% straight whiskey. Some of those are like 18%, something like that. Like Rebecca Creek, fine, what's it say? Fine Texas spirit whiskey. There's another one out there. Let's see, they got Rebecca Creek and there's another one that they try to push on everybody at like a $27 per bottle. Now you say you're judging it and you never had it. I am judging it based on the fact that it's not even 20% straight whiskey. It's over 80% just grain spirits, unaged. Hey, but maybe it tastes good because people do buy it, and I see them. They promote that stuff at like Texas Rangers baseball games and everything else. So, you know, but I'm not paying $27 to find out if it's good. Sorry. Burley Sullivan says, you, same to you, Burley. You to you. Now, the appearance is not similar. We've got copper here. You know, your typical bourbon appearance, copper. Could it have coloring at it? It could. Blended whiskey is allowed to have coloring at it, and they don't have to tell you about it. And this one's just pale straw. I doubt they're adding color into this yellow thing. It's barely even yellow. It's like pale yellow. If it would have focused, I'd be happy. This camera is troublesome, and I noticed that East Coast LQ reviews, he has trouble getting his camera to focus. Bumpy Road Brewery, or whatever, he changes the name of his channel a lot. Bumpyisms. But Jesse, his camera gives him trouble too. He drives him crazy, and it drives me crazy. Okay, especially in the dark, it really has trouble. I'm trying to see if the sun will come up while we're doing the video. That's why I got the lamps off. I'm not trying to be obstinate about it. I'm trying to see how it's going to look with the light coming in as we proceed. Finally focused. All right. I got to close my eyes because if I glance and see that pale strawman, I'm going to automatically know it's Texas 254. Oh, price point. Like I said, $14.99 for the Kessler. Cheap, huh? For a big handle. People call it a half gallon. It's not quite a half gallon. But it's, you know, heading that direction. This is $19.99. I paid $19.99 for the Texas 254. I did see online prices for $20.99, so I did save $1 at a local store. Went to Broadway Liquors and bought it. New Orleans, only place I've ever seen it. Would I buy it again? I don't believe I would, because I have no use for it. I have no use for any other repeats, honestly. You say, yeah, but just what about everyday drinking? I don't drink liquor. Not only do I not drink liquor every day, I don't drink it any day. I do not come home and do a mixed drink cocktail highball. I do not drink it neat. I don't drink it at all. I'll taste it like I'm doing here, a little tasting, but I'll just drink water, or I drink beer. You know, I've got a fridge full of the Milwaukee's Best Light and all these craft beers. So yeah, beer I drink. A little, about 2 ounces of wine, a little bit, about 2 ounces of wine with lunchtime, I'll drink that, which is why it takes me a whole month to get through a bottle of wine. It does. But but to say I'm a liquor drinker is not correct. So there would be no purpose for the repurchase, because I'll only do these for taste challenges, all about tasting it. I like to taste them and see how they taste, one versus the other. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, what's this? What's that? But to say drinking it, nah, I got no interest in it. Okay, taste. Cheers. Oh, I mean smell. Cheers. But if you like to drink liquor, I'm not disparaging that. No, I'm not putting out some oblique criticism. You know, I'm not trying to use a backhand put down or anything. I that's fine. I know people do it every day. Maud and Walter did, and they got, oh, that's right, they had an alcohol problem. But forget, that's a bad example. But anyway, but other people do, you know, George and Wheezy, and I never recall them having no drunkenness or anything. Now maybe Mama Jefferson might, you know, she tended to get a little wild with her Bloody Marys, you know, on a Sunday, if you remember. But in fact, she seemed to be pretty lit up most of the time. Mother Jefferson. Yeah, Mother Jefferson. But yeah, she was into those Bloody Marys, and I'll tell you. But George and Wheezy, they would just, you know, had their little tray. You know, always said that's nice. They got that cocktail tray in that apartment on the east side of New York. I thought it looked Manhattan. I thought it looked nice. Of course, you never could identify any brands. It was all like, you know, just generic stuff, because, you know, you'd have to pay to get your name on there. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I'm telling you, I'm picking up some pickle juice. Now, that is a very bad sign. When I first tried the 254, it tasted like corn liquor. Straight corn whiskey. Really did not taste like bourbon or smell like bourbon, but you got a little regular wood, not the charred oak, but just regular oak. But now, as I'm going deeper into the bottle, I'm getting more and more what I would call dill pickle juice, which I think the reason is because it was heavier and it settled. You know what I'm saying? The top of the bottle was more like the whiskey, and it's bizarre, but I don't think I'm wrong. And I'll tell you what is their big product? Their biggest selling product appears to be something called Kessler Craft Pickle Vodka. Kessler Craft Pickle Vodka with pickle juice in it, pickle flavor. And then they add caramel, you know, they add yellow number 5 to give it that, and maybe some blue to give it that green, or real light pickle green. You know what I mean? No, I mean, but could it be the case that they're using the same equipment for the pickle vodka and the Texas whiskey, and they're not cleaning them properly, and the whiskey is picking up residual pickle aroma and flavor? I think that is the case that they gave me. Oh, what a flaw. Oh, what a mistake. Oh, what a catastrophe. Let's taste it, though. You say, but that's craft distilleries. You got to give them a break. You know, I never could understand that argument that people would make about craft beer, especially. It's a bad batch. Give them a break. They're small. They're not like those macros, those big companies like Beam Suntory, or I'm sorry, Suntory Global Spirits, as it's been called since May 1st, I think. Yeah. You think you're going to ever drink a whiskey from them that's going to taste like pickle juice? I don't think so. Every whiskey you get from James B. Beam Company is going to taste exactly like it's supposed to taste. May not be good, but it's going to be good. It's going to be appropriately bad as it should be for that brand. You know what I mean? So like you say, oh, Jim Beam, I can't stand that stuff. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm so upset about Jim Beam. I think about it and get angry every day. Yeah, but you ever notice it always tastes the same? No matter how enraged you get about it, it always tastes the same. But then I got people always want to excuse the craft or the micro distilleries and breweries saying, well, it's small, you got to excuse it. I don't know why I have to excuse it. It's a product, it's on the shelf, I bought it, right? If I buy whiskey and it tastes like pickle juice, hey, we have a problem. And that comment from years ago, we're winning. Somebody talking about craft beer. We're winning, like it's a movement, like this is some social political movement. I had to laugh at that. I said, what are you winning? You know, you've not won anything. We are winning. Like he said, we. But you don't make beer. You're not part of the industry. You just drink it. Make endless comments about it. So it can't be we. And then now, ironically, that was 10 years ago when I said that the thing was coming to a crash. And now we are not winning, if you want to use his term. They're definitively losing, as I said would happen. Why? Because I had an axe to grind against craft beer, micro distilleries. I was out to get them. Wrong. Because it was too many. And they had lost the plot. And it was off the rails. And I was saying this 10 years ago. And people was like, you're negative. You're negative. I'm not being negative. I'm just telling you what's happening. I mean, I can observe, evaluate, make an assessment, can I not? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm not. Oh, this thing here. Okay, taste. This is crazy. This is so crazy. It's thin-bodied, even though they're both 80 proof. It's so corn distillate. Do you taste bourbon in it? No. No. You taste ethanol. If you want to get techno. I'm telling you right now, I think I'm picking up pickle juice. Maybe not as profoundly as yesterday evening, late afternoon, early evening. But I don't know, something weird about that product. You say, well, you gave it an A when you first reviewed it, so you can't change your score. It's written in stone. I like how some people are so obsessive about that. Like if you make you score a beer a certain score, like they'll come back. You know, but in 2012 you said it was a B plus. Now you're giving it an A minus here in 2024, 12 years later. It's like, yeah, people have changed their minds sometimes, or maybe the product changed. What's even more bizarre and probably indicative of someone battling mental health is that you're worried about what happened in 20, like you went back and looked at that. When the person that made it didn't bother, the person that actually made the video was like moving on. Oh, I can always go look up the scores because I put the scores on Beer Advocate. I always make a written review. And so, or it used to be Rapier, but their website went completely. I mean, it's still functioning, but you can't get on it. I can't. It's something wrong with it. It's not like they blocked me. They've been having this problem for over 2 years, like a bad portal or whatever. I said, I'm not fooling with them anymore. But Beer Advocate always works just like a charm, But anytime I make a video review for a beer, I'll go and write it, assuming that there's a listing for it. Some of them are so obscure they don't even have it listed. But and then I'll say, oh yeah, I made it a B plus. It'll show, and I make sure I put my scores on Distiller. And it'll say, well, here's what you scored it. And I can use that as a reference point. But to say that I go back and just dwell on it like, oh, yeah, in 2012, I said it was this. I better not change the score. No, because I'm not crazy. You say, oh, yeah, that's what crazy people do. Yes, that's right. That's what crazy people talk about. Crazy things. And you can find that in religion. It doesn't just have to be beer and liquor, you know. I mean, it attracts beer, wine, and liquor reviews. It will attract the crazies, you see. Just watch some of the videos, especially soft drinks. If you think beer is bad and whiskey, you ain't seen nothing until you go look at soda pop reviews. Then you really see the Lulus. I used to say craft beer is where the schizophrenics came out to play. I was wrong. It's soda pop. Although craft beer does attract a good collection of troubled types. Okay, but anyway, you know, some that make the videos, but most definitely those that comment on the videos. Some of them are videos, but definitely most definitely those that comment on the videos. Some of them are they're more out there than Colonel Kurtz. Oh, he's out there. He's really out there. Okay. I ain't getting into this pickle vodka. You know what I mean? It's just some weird undertaste. Oh, man. Is it a bad flavor? It's not a bad flavor, except there's only one little technical problem. I like to say technical. It has 3 syllables. It sounds nice. Or I do like Larry Holmes did in 1985, and I say techno. 2 syllables. If you want to get techno. Whiskey should not evidence dill pickle flavor, unless it's a dill pickle flavor whiskey, which that might exist. I've had the beer. I've had the vodkas. They're strange. Yeah, here we go. There we go. It is. I got it right. 8 wins, 2 losses. Oh, yeah. All right. Now we up to 80% success rate. And you notice, man. Now, Slopo 1981 says, Jay, does Bud Light, Miller Light have better ingredients than Busch Light, Keystone Light? No, not really. Why the price difference is so big? Because one is positioned as, those two are positioned as premium brands, and the other ones are positioned as below premium or value price brands. So they might cost exactly the same to make, but that's how they make more money, you see, because they take 2 products made for the same cost, and they put one here and put one here. Could be the same with bourbon. They got them all different levels, but it might not really cost any difference to make them. Maybe to age them, you know, time is money. But people go, wow, I got to go get that. I'm going to stand in line at 2 a.m. All right, well, y'all take care. The winner is clearly Kessler. Wins again.